shrimp people, what's up? Today's video is all about feeding shrimp. And we're just gonna get right into it, jump right in, no small talk. First things first is feeding shrimp depends on your colony size. The size of the colony meaning how many shrimp you have in your shrimp tank. Some people start with 5 shrimp, some people start with 10, and some even have larger colonies of 100 or 200 shrimp. So the number of shrimp obviously is going to really affect how much food you put in there. So that's first thing. Now the second thing is figuring out how much to feed them, and a great method to doing this is using a feeding dish, a really simple handy tool to contain food. The reason you want to contain the food is that if there are any leftovers, that you can remove it easily without it kind of getting into the soil and later on possibly creating problems for you that way. So what I would do is, for however many shrimp you have, if you have, like, let's just say 50 like I do, you're going to drop in a piece of food. As you can see, I put in a pretty small piece, but if this piece of food is still here in 3 hours, I would probably remove it because they're not eating it as quickly as they should, and that's probably because there's not enough shrimp. So it's too much food for the amount of shrimp. On the other hand, if they were to finish it all off within an hour, I would think, maybe next time I'll try a little bit more, because they finish it off so quickly that they can definitely use some more. So that's definitely your way to kind of try. It's better to underfeed than overfeed, of course, which leads to my next point of don't overfeed. And the whole thing with the feeding dish and overfeeding is there is a little worm called planaria that has a triangular shaped head, and this worm can definitely wreak havoc in your shrimp tank. It does kill baby shrimp. It can kill vulnerable molting shrimp, and it's definitely a pest that is predatory to shrimp. This pest results in overfeeding. So when the food gets into the soil and there's too much food in the tank, that they will result. Another thing to consider is baby shrimp. Now, you're gonna feed differently when you have baby shrimp. When you have adult shrimp, you can get away with them feeding off the biofilm in the aquarium and your regular feedings of your commercial foods or your leaves or whatnot. But when baby shrimp are added into the mix, sometimes we cannot provide enough biofilm throughout the tank. So it's a really, really good idea to feed powdered food, and not only for the adults but for the babies. And when you add a powdered food to the tank, because it's powdered in very small granules, it goes throughout the whole tank. And babies, for the first probably week of their life, are very stationary. They don't move around a lot. So if there's a baby off in that corner and we're feeding right here, we're feeding regular food, this food is really not going to make its way to a baby that's back in that corner over there. What the powdered food will do is definitely end up going all throughout the tank to every single part, and it'll reach babies all over. And that's when you can help really your baby shrimp survival, because if they're over there in that corner and not getting any food, they're definitely going to have the babies are going to die. They're not going to make it. They need their food. Once you have a buried female, you can start feeding powdered foods. I mean, you can feed your adult shrimp powdered food too, but I tend to introduce it as soon as I have pregnant females in a colony that's just getting started, and then the babies. Once babies come, I'm constantly feeding powdered foods. And with powdered food, a little goes a long way. So again, always underfeed rather than overfeed. Tiny doses of food always. If you think about it, shrimp are so tiny, they really don't need a lot of food, and chances are, if you have an established mature aquarium shrimp tank, that you're going to already have some biofilm sources in here as well. Biofilm, next topic, and with biofilm, there are many ways you can help create biofilm in your shrimp tank. I mean, biofilm lives on everything. It's on the glass, it's on the substrate, it's on the plants and moss, but other ways that you can help propel and expedite the process of making biofilm is by providing surfaces that are porous and that biofilm really thrives on. So things like Indian almond leaves, chala wood, these are really good surfaces to really help biofilm production and provide more surfaces for your shrimp to graze on. And then last but not least, do you feed every day? That is a very common question. And again, that question really depends on your colony size and how quickly your shrimp accept and eat the food when you do introduce it. So it's really a matter of you, putting food in and kind of gauging how quickly they're eating it, adding more or adding less, depending on their needs. So every day usually is for people who have very large colonies of shrimp, which include lots of babies. All right, everybody, I hope that helps. Quick tip for everybody about feeding shrimp. Thank you so much for watching.